On this episode of Camp Outside, we show you how we carry up to 8 bikes on our Nissan NV Passenger 3500 van. If you've got a big family and are trying to get outside, you need to see this video. Check it out. Hey guys, I'm Kevin with Camp Outside, your inside source for all things outside. If you've been following our channel for a while, you know that we absolutely love our Nissan NV Passenger 3500. If you haven't seen our overview video of the Nissan NV, I'm going to put a little link right up here or down in the description below so you can check out that video. Guys, this is the ultimate family road tripping machine. It pulls our boat. It pulls our boats, actually. It holds all of our camping gear, our fishing gear. It does everything we ask it to do. We put 81,000 miles on this van in just over 4 years. So, you know, we get out there, we love this thing. And one of the things that we like to do is we like to take our bikes when we go camping. And so we always are looking for new ways to load everything up, take the boat, take the bikes, take the camping gear, the coolers, the fishing gear, all that stuff. We've got to fit into, you know, admittedly a full-size van, but there are not always enough space for everything. So we are a family of 4, so I don't usually take 8 bikes with me, but I have the capacity to carry 8 bikes. So a lot of people buy these Nissan NVs because they have big families, and so if you're going to be an outdoors family with a big family, you're going to have to move a lot of bikes. So I'm going to show you the 2 different ways that we transport bikes on the Nissan NV. And that way, if you combine them both together, you would have the capacity to carry 8 bikes. So the first one I want to show you is how we carry bikes on the front of the van. Okay guys, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about how we put bikes on the front of the Nissan NV. If you haven't seen my video on putting a front hitch receiver on the Nissan NV, I'll put a link up at the top of the screen and down in the description below. Definitely check that out. I'm going to show you that front hitch with the bike rack attachment that we've done. But first, I wanted to let you guys know I added these front tow hooks to those receivers. So to add a front hitch receiver to my van, I had to take my tow hooks off. I still wanted the ability to use tow hooks, and so I got these little shackles that fit into a Reese receiver. They're awesome. It makes connecting to a tow rope or something like that very, very easy. And so I will put a link down in the description below to where you can find these if you're looking for one. You can put them on any Reese receiver, front or rear. They work awesome. So with that, I'm going to put the front hitch on the van, and we'll take a look. So there it is with the front Reese receiver all ready to go to add the bike rack. So here's the bike rack on the front of the van in the down configuration. We like to leave it on the van when we're on camping trips because it's just easy to put it down and run around town. It doesn't really get in the way. You do have to remember that it is on the front of the van because you can't see it from inside the cab. But once you get used to it, it really is no problem. And we also really like to use this option because we don't have to worry about the bike rack being on the back of the van and getting out in and out of the rear doors. If you are putting this kind of configuration on a Nissan NV, keep in mind you're going to have to turn off your sensors that detect objects in front of you. Otherwise, it'll just constantly beep inside the cab. And there it is in the up configuration where we can load up to 4 bikes on the front of the rack. I love this option because it makes it very easy to get in and out of the rear cargo doors of the van, as well as when I'm pulling a trailer. I don't have to worry about having anything on the back of the van between the van and the boat. But I will show you how we can do that because we can have bikes and the boat on the back of the van at the same time. And I'm going to show you how. Next, I'm going to show you how we carry bikes on the back of the van. You'll notice that you can either install it directly into the hitch of the vehicle, or you can use a hitch like I have, which is a Curt hitch receiver with an extra receiver on top. What this allows me to do is it allows me to hook into my pontoon boat and then put the bike rack on top. Because my pontoon boat has a long trailer tongue, I can put the bikes above the trailer tongue without any interference. I can turn, I can back up, I can do anything I need to with the boat on the hitch without interference from the bikes or the bike rack. That may not work for you if you have a trailer with a short tongue, so you're going to have to test that out for yourself. Not all trailers are made the same. But for us, it works great. So if I don't want anything on the front of the van, I can always put this bike rack on the back of the van and still hook up the boat and pull it at the same time. We also use a hitch carrier on the back of our van sometimes when we're not pulling a boat, and then we can put the bike rack into the hitch off the hitch carrier. So I'm going to put a link to our review of our B-Dog St. Bernard hitch carrier. I'll put one at the top of the screen and one down in the description below. So now that you've seen how we carry bikes on the front and back of the van, I'm going to show you the MaxxHaul 4-bike hitch carrier that we use, and we modified the version for the front. So I'm going to put them side by side and show you those and talk about what we did to modify one so we could put it on the front of the van. So here are both hitch carriers side by side. They are both the 4-bike carrier by MaxxHaul. The one on the left is my newer version, and the one on the right is the original version, or at least the first version that I have purchased. As you can see, the newer version has a little bit of gusseting in the corner to provide added strength. And I really like that because there is a lot of weight cantilevered out towards the end of the bike rack, especially if you have 4 adult-sized bikes on the bike rack, especially if they're mountain bikes or they're not, high-performance bikes that are ultralight or that kind of thing. These bike racks have a capacity of 150 pounds, so keep that in mind. If you've got really heavy bikes, you may not want to load 4 bikes up on a single rack. So the one on the left is the new one, and that's the one I put on the rear of the van, and the one on the right is the one that we've modified for the front of the van. And as you can see, the biggest thing that we did was we shortened the length. So we cut that piece and then re-drilled for the bolt and the cotter pin that helps you raise and lower the part that carries the bikes. We had to cut it down so that we had less interrupted view from inside the cab as we were looking out. If we didn't cut it down, the bikes were sitting too high. They blocked too much of my view, and I really didn't like that. So I basically kind of took a look at it and mocked it up to see how much I could cut off where I still had clearance from the bike tires against the pavement, but also gave me clear sight out the front of the van. And so I came up with this version, and I really like it. It works really well with my front reese receiver. If your front reese receiver sits higher or lower, obviously you would cut the bike rack differently. But it was very easy. I used a Sawzall and I cut it, and then I blasted it with some black spray paint to stop rust from setting in, and then I just drilled some new holes, and it was very easy to do. I also had the bottom part welded. So these are designed so that you can pull, like if I wanted to pull that pin there, you could drop it down. So if you put this bike carrier on the back of an SUV or something like that, they want you to be able to drop it so that you can open the hatchback. Well, on my van, I didn't need that feature. I especially don't need it on the one that's on the front of the van. I don't ever put this on the back of my van. I think it's too low, so I always use this one. So for this one, since it's only on the front of the van, I decided to have this welded up so that I wasn't worried about any extra movement or anything like that. I felt like it gave me a lot of strength. So if you don't have a welder, you can, or you don't know how to weld, there are lots of welding shops. I'm sure you can find one in your area, and something like this is very, very inexpensive. A lot of welders have like a $20 minimum, and so for $20 you can get that thing welded up, and then you don't have to worry about it moving on you or vibrating. So the other thing that I did was I didn't want this one sticking out from the van so far, so I drilled a second hole for the hitch receiver pin, and that allows me to put the hitch farther into my front reese receiver so it doesn't stick out as far. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to do that on the new one because of the gusset there, but that's a minor thing. I just did that because I could and because I felt like it just saved me a little bit of space on the front of the van. Guys, if you're looking to do something like this, it is very, very simple. I highly recommend these MaxxHaul hitch carriers. They are inexpensive, and I mean, we've had bikes on the front of the van or on the back of the van for hundreds and hundreds of miles, and these things have performed really well. But like anything, guys, whether it's a hitch or a trailer or anything like that, I always recommend that you keep an eye on everything. Look for stress cracks, look for loose bolts or connections. You're going to want to check things periodically as you're going down the road to make sure everything's tight and performing well. You don't want to have an accident where you drop your bikes on the road, either in front of or behind your vehicle. So always keep an eye on something like this when you are out on the road. So guys, two things I want to mention before I conclude the video. So the only thing I don't like about the MaxxHaul 4-bike carrier is that instead of drilling a regular hole for a regular hitch pin that you can use like a lockable hitch pin, they give you this screw-in bolt that has a hole for a pin. And so you screw it in and then you pin it. And so you can't lock it onto the van, which is a definite deal breaker for me because I am traveling with these things. I am camping overnight. Sometimes I'm stopped in a rest area or a parking lot overnight if I'm on the road, and I don't want my bikes being stolen. So I went ahead and on my front carrier, I drilled out the threads that's inside the bike rack, and so that I drilled it out so that I could just put a regular size hitch pin in there, a lockable hitch pin. I haven't done it to my rear carrier yet. Admittedly, that one's brand new, but I will soon so I can get rid of this and just use a regular locking trailer coupler pin. The other thing, guys, that you're absolutely going to want to do if you're using bike racks or you've got a setup like mine on the front of the van is to use these MaxxHaul anti-rattle hitch stabilizers. What that does is it takes the play out of the hitch. So when you're installing a hitch inside a hitch receiver, there's obviously a little gap so that you can easily slide your hitch in and out. That little rattle that you get, that little play that you get is amplified as you move out away from the hitch connection. So at the tip of the bike rack, that bike rack is going to move quite a bit left to right. So I've done a review on these MaxxHaul anti-rattle hitch stabilizers, and I'll put one right up here or down in the description below where you can check out that video. Guys, I highly recommend these. They're really inexpensive. They're like 10 bucks. I'll put a link down in the description below where you can get one. All of my links, guys, are affiliate links. Basically, if you buy using a link from me, I get a little portion of the sale, a little proceed from the sale, a little commission, if you will. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it is a great way for you to support Camp Outside. As a matter of fact, if you're buying outdoor gear from, Walmart, Amazon, Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, a whole variety of companies, we have affiliate links to those. So if you'd love to support Camp Outside at no additional cost to you, please use our links when you're purchasing outdoor gear or anything else. It really, really helps us out. So also, guys, one last tip. When you start to see rust on your hitch carrier, and you will, because as you're inserting things in and out of the hitch and whatever, you'll see rust inevitably. When I get rust spots on mine, I touch it up with some black rust inhibitive spray paint you can find at any hardware store, spray paint for metal. And what I'll do is I might sand it down a little bit or wipe it down, make sure it's clean, and then just blast it with some spray paint, and that'll keep your hitch not only looking good, but also keep the rust away. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. So Nissan is no longer making the Nissan NV Passenger 3500 van, which is a huge bummer. And apparently they are sold out everywhere. You cannot order a new one. But that shouldn't stop you, because I do see on the Nissan NV Facebook group, I'll put a link down in the description, that people are downsizing after after kids are out of the house and stuff like that. People are selling their vans on occasion. So if you want one, you can still get one. You just have to be a little more creative in how you go about it. And guys, I highly recommend this van. It has been fantastic for us. If you want a full-size passenger van, in my opinion, guys, it beats the Ford Transit, it beats the Chevy Express, it beats the Sprinter. It's all about tow capacity for us, guys, since we pull a 20-foot pontoon boat. A lot of folks pull campers with these. These just outpull all the other competition. So, like I said, highly recommend them. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Camp Outside exists to help moms and dads take their kids camping, hiking, fishing, learn about nature, and develop a conservation ethic. We want to help you get outside, Doesn't matter what vehicle you use to get outside, we want you to set a GPS setting for your nearest state park or national park, load up the kids, and get out there. But guys, if you want to take your bike, I highly recommend you do something like we did, either mounting bikes on the front or the back or both. So guys, Camp Outside releases new videos every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday right here on YouTube at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Our videos on Monday and Tuesday are focused primarily on campground and campsite reviews, and our Thursday videos are on a wide range of topics, including camping, hiking, fishing, how-to videos, tips and tricks, and a whole lot more. Sometimes videos about the Kemp bus, our Nissan NV. So guys, I thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that little bell icon that notifies you when we release new videos, and we will see you next time on Camp Outside.